Hey, we're live and it's Friday night, and welcome to the Fan Caste episode 109. And I'm your host, no longer just Channel Dad of World Class Bullshitters. I'd finally realized that I am now the self-professed, self-proclaimed, the great one himself, Channel Dad of the Fandom Menace. How do you like that? Kind of using a little bit of comics book cunt lingo there.
I noticed that. I like it.
All right, that man giggling over in the he's not giggling, he's just agreeing over in the corner and looking like a Santa Claus and a Smurf had a baby. The Appalachian American.
Where's the Smurf? I ain't blue. I'm red, red-blooded.
I see a blue hat and a blue shoulder.
That ain't a blue hat. That's a black motorcycle helmet.
All
He's
right.
blind.
You're and that man chuckling below, tapping dudes.
Okay, so I hear there's this lesbian kiss in Star Wars, but every time I look it up, I keep getting Pornhub links.
Oh, are you in Singapore too?
What?
I said every time I look
where
up,
they cut it out.
Yeah, that's where they cut it out. That's one of the countries I don't remember the rest.
Dead-gum Singaporeans.
All right. Speaking of Pornhub, this is next week's thumbnail.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, hello there.
Well, hello.
Right.
So
looks like Anna has the high ground now.
And that is not safe for children.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. So how was your Christmas, y'all?
It was good, actually.
Pretty good.
My mom got wasted. It was hilarious.
Your mom got wasted?
Yeah.
She died?
No, wasted, and she got plastered drunk, shit faced, whatever you call it. And I was just minding my own business, popping fireworks. I hadn't popped fireworks in years, but my cousin brought some.
Fireworks?
Yeah.
Is that what you guys
I did fireworks.
Southwest?
Mm-hmm.
I did fireworks. That was awesome.
Yeah. Yep. We did one called Purple Haze.
Nice.
And another one called Smooth Operator. But the Purple Haze one was the best one. And I forgot what the other one was called, but I didn't realize how big it was going to be, so I sort of stood really, really close to it. Of course, I was keeping my cool and not moving and just letting them come near me, but they never touched me, so I think I pretty much looked pretty cool in front of everybody, just standing like an idiot in front of fireworks as they went off.
What was that dude that everybody was like, you better move? It was like a meme for like a hot minute. He was like, you better move. And he had the wheelchair or something. You know
Heck if I remember. There's so many memes out there. It's hard to keep track.
All right.
How was your Christmas late? I guess we lost him. I guess it was a very good one with the silence he's given. What about yours, Seth? Did you eat that tomato gravy or whatever you were telling me about?
No, I didn't, but I had deer steak gravy. It was amazing. It was
I think more this deer. All I've ever had was
truly delicious.
What else happened? I was watching A Christmas Story. I didn't see that in a while, even though they show it all the time. I don't have cable to watch it. And I was looking I
can't stand that movie.
Really?
It's just, it's just something. I think it's because it's on every year, and I just get annoyed with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was funny though. I was looking at the when he got the BB gun, and they sold it at Walmart, and I told her brother, I said, "Look, they don't have the damn compass in the stock." Because I checked.
Yeah, I saw that. That was awesome.
It looked cool, but I was like, it would have been cooler if it was the actual compass. But oh well. I mean, I don't need any BB guns. I've got better guns.
I don't believe in guns. They're bad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know, right? I hear what you're saying. They are pretty bad. They're evil. They do bad things. They're very, very bad.
Okay.
I guess we lost Lape. He's real quiet.
Lape is
probably dealing with.
Yeah, I'm having a sidebar conversation. I'm going to very quickly explain to my daughter and the rest of the audience what I think should have happened in the Rise of Skywalker, or the whole Disney trilogy.
No, is that spoilers for people?
That was kind of a topic that I wanted to do.
Yeah,
I threw it out in the chat. Okay.
So, what I think, and I think I said this last week, and this was part of what they led us to believe that Finn might be force sensitive in the very first movie. You have
potential.
All people deserves it.
Right. You have Rey, and you have Rey and Kylo are juxtaposed against one another. Former students of Luke. You can still have Luke get fearful and go off, but no map, no MacGuffin to Luke. I know JJ can't do a non-MacGuffin movie, but I get it. They're about the same age. Rey has a vision to hang out on Jakku for some reason. And that's how Finn shows up. And basically the entire trilogy is the two of them attempting to turn Finn to their side. So you have essentially with Finn, you have indoctrination since birth, basically, or since extremely young age versus free will. And so Ben Solo, Kylo Ren being the indoctrination and Rey being the free will. Which way does it go? And that should have been the arc of all three movies.
I mean, like, I like the dynamic between Kylo Ren and Rey of being like these vast forces of two different things.
Yep.
But why is she being nice to him?
Yeah, she hasn't seen the new movie, but she's seen clips, so she does know some of what happens.
In the second movie, I'm like, why are you being so nice? He doesn't deserve it.
Oh, when
he's a dumb little boy. I don't like it. I'm like, I just.
Yeah, she just watched The Last Jedi within the last week.
He doesn't deserve kindness.
You want to get closer to the mic so that people can hear?
He doesn't deserve kindness yet. I will say yet, but it's none of it's justified. In the second movie, none of that is justified.
Right. She just runs off.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm gonna go save him. Why? Because you liked Han Solo, so you want to be like, I'm gonna save your son. Well, no.
She in the early scene with Luke, she says he can't, the First Order is going to overrun all the other systems within weeks, and Kylo Ren can't be turned. And it's essentially the next day she says the exact opposite and runs off.
Right. And then even if there was a small glimmer of hope, why would you believe anything that he said? I would always consider that to be a trap. She threw caution to the wind and was like, I'm going to run off. And
like a lovesick teenager.
I hate it. And it's obvious that she's had social interaction. It's not like she's completely like dumbfounded.
Can you guys hear her okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's not like she's completely like new to this whole thing.
Yeah, I know.
Like the friends thing I get. She should not.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
Yep.
To watch her.
Well,
the whole movie was frustrating.
The Rise of
right.
And the thing is with the Rise of Skywalker, after you get past the first scene, technically, nearly every scene after that is payoff with no setup in the first two movies. I mean, here's what I said this. I don't remember. I've told people this since then. I don't remember if I said it on last week's show, but if the Rise of Skywalker would have been the actual climax to a trilogy that was planned and everything was built up to that, it would have definitely rivaled the original trilogy. If all of that was earned, if all of that payoff was actually earned, it would be much better than the prequels, and not better than the original trilogy, but at least we could compare it.
But not a good successor.
Right. All of it was unearned.
Yeah. And honestly, I miss the original like story building of like the original movies, how there would be sections of just dialogue and no action, no like it is. Oh,
I can't wait to see Rise of Skywalker is literally action. Someone speaks for 30 seconds. Next action scene.
Like the first one wasn't too bad with that. The second one is like it's like can we pause please? Can we take a minute to evaluate?
Rise of Skywalker is a roller coaster ride.
I don't like this. And I'm glad that a lot of Star Wars fans are realizing that even if there's some bits that they like, there's a lot that they're like, yeah, but it could have gone this way, and for that reason, why did we do this?
Whoa. That was some feedback there. Sorry. All right.
Okay. I need to go because I can't put my full input in until I've seen the third movie. And
well, I'll tell you what.
Somebody wants to torrent it for me.
See the third movie, and you and I we'll do a podcast together about it.
That'd be fun. Okay.
All right, or a video or something. All right, she's leaving.
Bye. Have a good time.
Praise the Lord. No.
You know what I would like to see is a Finn get his white woman, but that didn't happen.
Right. And I don't know if exactly where I would go with that idea with Finn, the two of them battling back and forth, because what I don't want to see is what we sort of got was a remake of the original, when we definitely got it in The Force Awakens. Mm-hmm. And I think if you could actually use some of George Lucas's ideas about exploring the meaning behind the Force and the source and all that stuff, some of the stuff that he had wanted to do, but I thought was kind of stupid. I think you can explore those ideas in the context of, here's a Force sensitive person and how, essentially it's the three of them. In many ways, it does echo the original trilogy, although Kenobi gets killed in the first one, and then you have Yoda, but you do have this dark and light type thing, and Luke is there, but he's connected to the whole thing. And you can still have Rey be a Palpatine, I don't care, but yeah, her just and you got to remember, my daughter's 22, she's in the target audience of this. She's somewhat liberalish in some ways and somewhat conservative in other ways, or semi-libertarian, we'll say.
So she's one of those middle freaks?
Huh?
I said, she trying to be one of those middle freaks that say I'm in the middle?
No, but she thinks, she was a Bernie Sanders supporter 4 years ago.
Sorry.
But when she encounters this SJW stuff, she's like, what is wrong with these people? I mean, she understands that they're just lunatics on the fringe there.
Right.
And yeah, I cannot wait for it to see Rise of Skywalker. Although my brother was watching Last Jedi the other day, and he called me last night and was on the ski slope and saying it wasn't on Netflix anymore. I'm like, yeah, they said they were taking it off the 26th. That's today. He found it on Disney Plus. He's like, well, I like what I see so far. And I'm thinking, you're not paying attention to the movie. So the thing said we had somebody watching, and then it went away. What happened?
Hard to tell.
Yeah, I don't know how
active it
is anyway.
Oh well. Anyway,
here I'll join in and watch. I got it going and muted in my other browser. Let's see if it here I'll post a message so you can see eventually. See if it says one person watching. So anyway, I don't know what you guys were talking about, because she was talking about me for like 3 or 4 minutes. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
I thought she was just going to.
We had a conversation going, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like we were kind of lacking in what had happened this week to talk about on the show, other than the usual stuff.
Yeah.
There was nothing. Didn't feel like anything happened this week.
No.
I mean,
everything
major.
Just Christmas,
Yep, it was Christmas. Taking their break.
I got a lot of Power Ranger toys.
Yeah, I saw that.
Sure.
So awesome.
Yeah, I got a Star Wars T-shirt for Christmas, because my aunt, she knew I liked it, but when I first opened it, I saw the word Star, and I'm like, oh shit! I opened it, and I looked, I was like, oh, thank God, it's OT. It's just OT. I was afraid for a second, because at first I thought the Stormtrooper was the sequel, and then I'm like, oh no, it's original, thank God. And some socks, and that was fine. I didn't need much, because I pretty much bought everything I wanted for Christmas. A couple of Lego sets and some MREs, and that was it.
MREs.
Nice.
Wow. That's a serious gift there. Your
I
grandma
know, right?
like you.
Like me? I bought them myself.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. I usually just buy my own Christmas presents these days. No, I don't expect anyone to get me.
All right. So okay, so you wanted to talk about what would you'd rather have seen in this sequel trilogy? I mean, given the same cast, maybe perhaps. I mean, I don't. Do we want to do it that way, or do we want to say what would have you done?
That's kind of the way that I proposed it in the group chat. Was like, if you could use the same cast, but just maybe have different writers. I would like to. I haven't quite figured out like every single character. But I know that I would have liked to have seen Finn be more of a hothead. Like, I think I would have liked for The Force Awakens to have started out with Finn being a diehard Sith stormtrooper that maybe was like Captain Phasma rank, like the leader of like a battalion kind of deal. And he was hardcore, like, I'm going to kill every single one of them kind of deal. And then slowly not in the first 5 minutes flip, but maybe by the last movie have realized that, man, maybe this isn't the right thing to do, but like it showed progression of like him being taking the 3 movies and going from this I'm gonna kill everybody mentality to I am on the wrong side to I'm gonna use what I know as far as skills, as far as stormtrooper teaching, and because they're all military, they are taught how to fight and how to use weaponry. I mean, I know we joke about they can't hit anything, but in the aspect of thinking about military wise, he has had a lot of training, and if he would have been like a Captain Phasma-esque level, then he would have been a really serious force, like a Rambo style. Not some soy boy loser worried about if Rey's got a boyfriend or not. Not worried about any of that. Kind of a cross. I think I would have liked to have seen him be a cross between Drax and like Rambo.
Really?
Drax, not the stupid Drax, but the serious, take everything literal. Because being a stormtrooper, he never probably had a social life. So like the awkwardness of having to explain.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're going with. Yeah,
him, and him being just bloodthirsty, savage. And as far as that, I don't know where it would have gone, but I would have liked to have seen a better progression of Finn. I think it could have been a lot better. I mean, I know it could have been a lot better, but you know what I'm saying? Like, when I daydream about this at work, that's kind of like where I go with him.
Yeah.
And then Poe, man, Poe's really just a Han Solo wannabe that you really can't do anything with. But I mean, he could have been killed. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, he could have, or he could have been done better.
Yeah. I mean, I really don't have an issue that Rey is a girl, but I would have liked to have seen. It's the obvious answers and obvious statements of. I would have liked to have seen her been written better. I'd like to have seen her been treated better. Go through some training, go through some adversity. Have the generic, have a story worth telling. But it was like, nah, whatever.
Right.
But, we could have known from the get-go that she was Palpatine's granddaughter and that she was in hiding. And she, knew herself, like, this is what's up, and I have to be low-key.
Yeah. Like, she was, like, the one hiding herself out in that Jakku
she was
or whatever.
The one that was taken
because she knew what she was. Yeah. And she was afraid she would either be bad or people wouldn't accept her.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's that's similar to what I was talking about with if you had them both be students of Luke and you still have Kylo Ren, essentially do what he does. You could have that could be part of that could also be a catalyst. If she already knew she was, maybe they're trying to figure out where let's say we don't know where she's coming from and she discovers she's a Palpatine, and maybe that's part of this almost like a 3-way disagreement between Luke, Ben, and her. You could also have her not be a Palpatine at all. You could have her just, in the quietness of meditation. Because let's say that she was a Jedi still, kind of like Anakin in the second one, where he's very close to taking his trials, or Obi-Wan in the first movie, in episode 1, where he's close to taking the trials and that kind of thing. And then she has a reason to be on Jakku that, the Force gives her a vision. I have no problem with that. You could have that in the crawl, right? That, there's a split amongst the Jedi training. You don't necessarily have to be Ben going too evil. You can still have Snoke. You can still have the big baddie. Although I don't think you want to kill him off until the third one. Unless you're going to do some kind of series of baddies like we got in the prequels, which I really thought was dumb. I think Darth Maul. Forget, maybe you've got Dooku. I would have, in the prequels, I would have gotten rid of the stupid. There's a rule of two. You can have Darth Maul kill Dooku. You can have Darth Maul do some kind of injury to Obi-Wan, but not like lose an arm, maybe even Anakin, and then he eventually defeats Darth Maul in a rage, essentially, and that's where we really see him fall. Because, I didn't want to see an echo of the original trilogy. And I didn't know what I wanted in the prequels until I saw the Phantom Menace. Like, I don't want an echo. And if you're going to echo, start the same age as Luke. Don't start him as some 12-year-old twerp, or 9-year-old or whatever stupid age he was. But so we get a similar character build. Now, this is one of the things, if you listen to my daughter's comments, what is her biggest gripes? No world building, no story arc, no character development, right? It's the same stuff we talk about. And this is and she's in the target audience. I mean, you guys might be, I know I'm not. I mean, good God, I'm in my 50s. So, but it's, that's what's missing out of these. And as soon as they become popcorn fluff, this is some of my biggest problems with some of the Marvel movies, although they do have some character development. Oh, hold on. Thank you, Toby.
Toby.
Hold on. He got a hold of a Christmas card. Thank you, Toby. From my parents. That's the card my daughter opened. Thanks, Toby.
Thank you, Toby.
My wife's attention. So that's the thing that is missing from these. And hold on. And when you talk to people who say they like these, and then you ask them what do they like, and that's, Kelly's even saying the same thing. They like the nostalgia. They like this. That's not a compelling reason to like the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's like very surface level. And the second you scratch under that, boom, you don't have anything. It's the Emperor has new clothes. No one wants to admit to the Emperor that he's naked until some little kid says he's naked, and then everybody saw it the whole time. No one wanted to admit it. And I think that's a big part of it. People don't want to admit to themselves just how bad these movies are.
Yeah. And because what was it? It's like when you like a bad movie. I mean, you know how people like The Room and stuff like that? They at least admit that it's a bad movie, but they like it because it's just so ridiculous it makes them laugh or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, but this one, it's like, I don't see how you could like it from what I hear, because, I still haven't seen it, so I can only go off of what I hear people say. Word of mouth is still exists for a reason.
Right. Right. And go ahead. Well, what would you like to see in a sequel?
Okay.
How would you redo it?
How I would have liked to have done it was, because one of my biggest things I hate is the First Order, like the worst villains ever. The way I would have liked to have seen it, whereas we have the New Republic, Luke is what do you call it? The Jedi, teacher, he's training Jedi, stuff like that. And I would have had it where the what do you call it? I mean, I could even work with Rey being a Palpatine, and she knew about it and she was trying to hide herself. That could work, I think. But I would have had it where the First Order was like a terrorist organization, not a whole, opposing force that was going to rule the galaxy. They were just what's left of the Empire, because there was all this talk about how they went to the unknown regions, and that could have worked, and what was left over the Empire, because the whole Battle of Jakku thing was kind of stupid, how only certain people, only the strong worthy, and then just kill off everybody else. Like, no, man, you want to get as many resources and people you can get, not kill off people because you think they're weak. You want to get all the resources you can. So I think it would have worked out better if they were just this sort of nuisance terrorist organization. And then the first one, The Force Awakens, could have been when they finally launched like a massive attack that sort of maybe semi-crippled the New Republic. And that's what gets everything going, to make them a viable threat. They're not very powerful, but because they attacked at the right moment and attacked the right targets. And that's why they're such a threat to the galaxy again. And they're not I hate the uniform designs, the new designs of the stormtroopers. I would have done something better with that. I don't even know if I guess I could say keep it, but you got to sell toys, as they say. But that's what I would have worked on better on the First Order. Had them just a simple, like I said, terrorist organization, but they they build up their resources, they take their time, and they launch a massive attack, and that gets the whole ball rolling to start the whole series. And I would have liked, that would have been cool. Yeah, because I did kind of like Finn when I first watched it. I would have liked to seen it where, yeah, he was a hardcore zealot. He believed in the Empire all the way. He would hear about it from, people before him say how it was great, it was peaceful, time of security, everything was good. And he believed it to his core. But then, they're like, when they lost, that's when he was like, he wants to fight for this. But then as time goes on, he realizes how he's on the wrong side. That's how I would have, that's pretty much me on how I would have wanted the series to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's part of that, like my idea of having Finn, this kind of goes back to my theory on why I don't have a problem with Leia being Luke's sister. Okay, that was kind of weird, but I don't remember how far back in time I had this idea, but it felt to me like even in the first one, especially on rewatching, I know 2020 and all that, hindsight 2020, that what I believe the reason why she was able to resist the mind probes and the interrogation, but never gave in that she was force sensitive because she didn't know. And Luke was told that his father, was a Jedi, and he says he basically makes the decision to learn the ways of the Force like my father, right? And the ways of the Jedi, right? Learn more of the Force, whatever. So he has some Force sensitivity, but he's conscious of it. And that's how come Vader senses it when he gets close. And because, when you make that switch of, this is his daughter and he didn't know it, I think that's the thing, is until she doesn't become aware of her powers really until Luke tells her in Jedi. And then, he reaches out to her, but she's kind of shocked in Empire when he's hanging upside down, reaching out to her. And much of that's probably an emotional connection. But in Return of the Jedi, she felt that he was still alive after the Death Star blew up. And I think it's because she became conscious of her Force abilities. And I think if you have Finn as a Force sensitive, that the whole scene on Jakku where he pauses and Ben Solo turns around and looks at him, but then doesn't do anything. I think that's far more powerful if Finn is Force sensitive, doesn't know it. And what's happening is the Force is starting to work on his mind and undo the conditioning. And it's just that very brief second, Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, whatever the hell you want to call him, he senses it, but then it's gone. And then that's a conversation he has with Snoke that's somewhat similar to Vader's. I haven't felt this. And he goes and he talks to Tarkin and says he's here, right? He figures it out what's going on. Whereas Ben is a little confused, and he said he thinks he felt something. Snoke is kind of playing the Tarkin role of, well, I didn't sense anything, which is somewhat also happens along the lines in the third one when Vader senses Luke on the shuttle, but the Emperor doesn't, So you get some of that stuff. What's already been established. We have a little bit of expansion of what's already been established in the movies without having all kinds of weird books and all this other nonsense, as opposed to what we're getting where we're just inventing, hey, we need a Force MacGuffin. Oh yes, Force teleportation, And I think people said some of that stuff's out of the EU. That's great. Okay. Not everything in the EU was gold. A lot of it was garbage. But I'm just talking about the canon on the screen. This has already been established. And, you could have, like I said, you could have Rey be a Palpatine. You could have her just be, just like, Qui-Gon or any of these other people that there's no mention of some long legacy of, I'm the 19th Jedi in my family. And, and you can still have that theme in somewhat of that theme in The Last Jedi where anybody can be necessarily anybody be Force sensitive. It doesn't have to be a Skywalker or a Kenobi or a Palpatine. It's just that's just the center of the storyline. And again, it's like complaining about Julius Caesar house, lineage when you're talking about the rise of the Roman Empire. Well, it's part of what a dynasty is. It's like looking at 300 years of English monarchy history and said, does their tree ever fork?
Just a telephone pole.
Well, until you have a war of, secession or something like that. I mean, this is how we get the invasion in 1066, because there's a disagreement. You have the King of England dies, and there's a disagreement on who takes the throne next. And William the Conqueror believes it's him, and he invades in 1066 and settles the issue by conquest. So it's that, anyway. But I really, really think that. If we can come up with some better ideas than what we got. Now, granted, here's the difference. We're thinking through 3 movies. They didn't plan anything.
Yep.
The plan was to make money. Well, and I granted, I know I'm going down some slippery Alex Jones slope here, but I really believe that Kathleen Kennedy's mission was to destroy George's legacy. She felt that Carrie Fisher got the slight. She had to wear the stupid slave Leia dress. She doesn't understand anything about Star Wars. She just sees that dress and thinks, oh, this is humiliating. I got to get back at George somehow, and just bides her time over the decades. And by golly, she does it.
They're turning the frogs gay.
Yeah.
They're turning the Star Wars fans gay.
I've said it a zillion times. That dress doesn't work for humiliation as far as the character, unless Leia's strong in it. And she's not a damsel in distress. Mark Hamill's talked about this. And she kills Jabba with the very chains that bind her. So, Kathleen, you missed the whole point and all of the symbolism, because you were just a Title IX hire.
Can't even make good coffee, from what I hear.
I don't know.
Or organized.
She's well connected in Hollywood, and that's it is an incestuous industry. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yep. And who you fucking.
That's what you have to do when you don't know the right people.
Yep.
Right. If you don't
go to Harvey Weinstein,
you don't have an in, as it were, in some other way. That's what you have to do to know the right people.
Yep.
And and I know the casting couch and all that other crap in Hollywood. It's it's a meme. It was a meme before memes were a thing, but unfortunately, there was a lot of truth in that, and there's a lot of pain, and a lot of people who got away with stuff that they never should have been able to get away with. But that's not Lucas, as far as I know. And that's never been an accusation with her or Spielberg, him or Spielberg, or anybody. Several of those directors, but she was out to right the injustice, and now we have a dead brand. I can't imagine. I know the Mandalorian TV show is doing well, but I don't think you're going to see a lot of merchandising from that, because it's not everybody has Disney Plus, and it's not millions upon millions of people who are seeing that.
You mean all 10 million of those subscribers may not be real?
Seth, how bored are you?
Oh, sorry.
What do you do?
I've been making a meme. That's why I was quiet.
Oh my goodness.
What did he do?
How awesome
Really?
is that?
Yeah, that's how the Fandom Menace should have.
Chin, is that just the helmet? Is that just Kylo Ren's helmet?
It could be. I think it's just the helmet sticking out. Or you could be some kind of weird thing you have around your ears.
You got Kendo. You gotta
look at Dion. Look at Dion. Dion's the horse.
Oh, God. He's the horse.
Yeah. Oh, you got Frank.
You trying to
do what?
Wait, who's that? No, I was looking at who that was, but that's Jeremy. I was like, who's the dude with the hat? And that's Cecil.
And EVS.
Yeah, I was looking at the bottom.
I just put them. I just put them in there because I didn't know anybody else to put.
Well, that's good.
And I'm
You're Ray.
I'm trying to look. Yeah, apparently I'm OP as fuck.
He gets everything in the end. That's also I didn't.
And,
it's also I was telling Kelly with the different things that
I don't have to work for shit. I don't have to earn any of it. I just give it to me, so it works out. That's fine by me. I get all the friends. I get the lightsaber. I get the last name.
Jeff is Chewbacca.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Jeff's Chewbacca.
Sure. Hold on.
The Hicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it works out. He was Chewbacca in the comic with that tennis ball on his head.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You forgot? Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't comprehend anything I read. I'm Appalachian.
I thought that's why you put him as. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, because of the comic. I was wrong. I was so wrong.
So wrong.
Thank you. Thanks for ruining my night. I think I'm just gonna go to bed now. Anyway, so where do we leave off of? What were we talking about? I completely.
Oh man, good times.
I completely forgot what you were talking about, Late.
Well, that's two of us.
I think you were going on about. I'm serious. I completely lost track of where we were. Like I was listening, and then you just started laughing. It threw me off.
You guys have a.
You're talking about Kathleen Kennedy being a bitch and something like that.
Oh yeah, there's someone you can try and put on there as Eric Ward. That was his favorite opening line. Fuck Kathleen Kennedy.
Okay. And what's her name's titties?
Oh, Leanne McAboo.
Yep. Always talking about her. That was his thing. And I was like, who the hell is that? And then I would always hear InfoWars. I'm like, okay, now I know.
Right. Yeah.
I was not.
I don't know who Eric Ward is.
He was on the show for a year.
Maybe he didn't go that far back.
He's the guy that was always going to Chipotle.
Oh.
He's that other guy that's still in our fan cast group chat, the main
but
one.
He's
not in the real one.
He's always
the other one.
He's always like 30 minutes late.
Yeah, that's the one we were talking about.
Okay.
Wait, I thought he was still in the real one.
No, I booted him. Frank still is, but Al and Pete still are.
He'll come back. I have faith in him.
Frank is a near founding member, so until he deserts us like Kendo, I'm not going to boot him out.
Yeah. Well, he's got no.
I shouldn't say Kendo deserted us. He actually got a huge promotion. So
more like that. I was going to say that's more of a promotion than deserted.
Yeah, he's like, I need to go to deal with my new job, and you guys just keep doing whatever it is you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot to tag. He goes, "Oh my God, dogs! They all went out before we started this damn show, and now they are farting like I don't even know what that smell is. I don't know what my wife is feeding them. It's amazing. She's gone, and I have to feed the dogs, and they don't have gas, and they come back, and she's feeding the dogs, and they have gas."
Gas.
Or gas. Gas. As my mother-in-law would say, gasoline. She's from Philadelphia. So radiator and gas. All that jazz, she says.
Gasoline.
We call it gasoline over here.
Yeah, spell with an S.
We don't know how to pronounce words down here.
Well, they do say
unlike
weird.
Some of you people. Don't know how to talk for shit.
Yeah. I want to know where that's the whole meme with the stormtroopers can't shoot any. Who started that meme? I want to know, because that's so stupidly dumb. I'm like, dude,
it's actually pretty accurate.
It's not.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, honestly, look, if you watch the Clone Wars and watch how everybody shoots in a battle. I mean, as much as I like it, and I like the clone troopers, those motherfuckers can't shoot. They're just standing there shooting, and they're not even really aiming. Like I said, watch a battle of the Clone Wars, and you'll see that it's true. Unfortunately, they made it true. I mean, I get it sucks, and speaking of stormtroopers can't aim, that joke was in the Mandalorian, big time.
Yeah, Eric Ward looks like Red Foreman,
doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just looked
they
him
turned
up.
it into reality. Hey, in the original trilogy, if you didn't have plot armor, you died.
Yep.
Much.
Yeah, look at Alderaan. They didn't have no plot armor.
You know, kind of one of those bodies Vader steps over in the first scene, you know, one of the opening scenes.
Yeah.
Stacking bodies.
He's like, my poor 501st guys. They're dying. Oh, well. Hey,
More, right?
Right. I mean, they're moving people around like, oh, it's Vader. Stand to attention.
Like, right? Like,
Now,
shit.
Seth, you saw the Rise of Skywalker, right?
Yeah, it was awful.
Well, when the Knights of Ren go by, doesn't the one stormtrooper says the Knights of Ren? Doesn't the other one say goals or something like that? It's like, oh, it's the Knights of Ren. It's like there's some other comment after that line, but I don't remember what it is.
I have no idea.
He's like, I didn't know they were sending special forces. That's what he said.
The Knights of Ren. Yeah. The Knights of Ren are so stereotypical Jar Jar Abrams, it's not even funny. He has this kind of mystery box, and then it's like, oh, you wanted, and then all they do is stand around. You know, they're seen in because obviously we saw some releases with the images of them in the desert. They don't really do anything, and then they sort of, I don't even understand how they can even hold their own with Kylo Ren, because he can just push them all away with the Force until he gets a lightsaber. That's so dumb.
Weren't they all like Force sensitive though?
I don't know. They all have like
former Jedi.
I don't know.
They have blade weapons. They don't do anything.
Which was dumb. Looked like out of anime.
Yeah, they look like 6 cosplayers showing up for,
right.
Comic-Con.
And they all look stupid. Their helmets look dumb. I mean, Kylo Ren's helmet doesn't look the coolest, but it's got a sleek look. The other ones look retarded.
Yeah. It's like you thought this was. Oh, there's another one. Now who he added?
I put Red Foreman.
And did you? Oh, instead of you took Frank out, or did you put Frank somewhere else?
No, I adjusted Frank.
Oh, Frank's a little okay. Somebody else.
Yeah, I got rid of EVS.
Oh, okay.
He ditched us, so we ditched him. Whatever. Did you guys see where that dude wanted to burn EVS's comic?
He said he was joking. He was a joke, but people took it wrong. I know because he's on another group I'm on. I mean, I saw it and I thought, okay, maybe he did something, but you can't read tone in messages. But yeah, it was a joke.
Yeah, I was like,
and people got real mad.
Right.
Yeah, I was just like, okay. I didn't think much of it either, but I noticed people were getting all upset, and in another group he said, all the EVS fanboys got upset. I'm like, you're either for them or against them, but he was a joke. I was like, okay.
Somebody called him the comic book hut. I was like, what are you
really?
Hut? Yeah.
That asshole. Yeah, that dude. I don't know what that dude's doing. He did another video, and I didn't even finish it because I can't stand his voice. Shit. Where he talks about EVS ruined the Fandom Menace with the song saying that he's asking kids to buy his stuff or his comics. It's like, and I'm like, look, these days it doesn't really matter because kids are gonna get, all they have to do is go online, type in their parents' credit card, and that's it. That's totally on them because it's not that hard to do things these days. It's not like it used to be. But hold on. But okay, I get it. He's asking people to buy his product, whatever. But he's over here acting like he's telling them to buy his erotic novel or something for little kids to read. I'm like, calm down. Like he has a hate boner for EVS, I think. Like of all the Fandom Menace, he's the one he hates the most.
Well, you said that before, that you think that a lot of the stuff with Jeff is because he doesn't like Cecil and EVS.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Cecil, did you guys watch? You guys ever watch the Jack Show?
No, I've tried a couple times, but it's so boring to me. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, when you work in a like a medical, I work in a medical lab, so I spend all day with my earbuds in, so I don't really have, I just listen to whatever. But they were talking about Cecil did like probably 5 minutes of just comic book hut voice imitation.
Oh,
So
God, I gotta hear
It's
that.
him, isn't it? It's really
and
him.
Anna was like, "If you don't stop, I'm gonna jump through this computer and kill you." It was so funny. It was a Christmas. It was Christmas Eve. Like it was like Tuesday night. Oh, they went all the way into Wednesday morning. It was just him and Anna. There was entertaining times. Cecil got really, really drunk.
As usual. Tell me something
And started
new.
singing. He started singing. I can't remember. Well, I don't remember what the name of the song is, but it was a Christmas song, and just like he would just start blurting it out just randomly. And she was like, "Oh my God, Cecil, shut up!" It was so funny.
But we love Cecil.
Oh, I do. He's so funny.
I know, right? I like
Oh,
those. Did you see those videos of him when he was walking the streets? He was drunk and shit.
What up, Prime?
What's up?
Ladies.
The other old man on the show.
Sorry, continue.
I never knew I could find someone older than Lape. That's what surprised us all.
That knew how to work the internet? Is that what you're telling me?
No, just in general. Oh, someone
Back
older
when it
than
was
you.
called the internet.
My parents are still alive.
Okay.
You got a grandma. She's older than I am.
How do you know?
Yeah, I got 1 year older 2 days ago,
Uh-huh.
so I'm really in that downhill.
I'm down. Oh, man. That's unfortunate. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, I was making
Cecil.
I was saying Cecil. Cecil. Yeah, the one where he's on his way home. He had just finished spending time with the bullshitters, and he was drunk. He was just wandering the streets. Did you see that one, Seth?
Uh-uh.
You didn't see that one?
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I would hope it's still up, but yeah, he's just wandering. He's like, oh yeah, but I think you see some police. The police, if they see me and all that stuff like that. There were times I thought he was going to get run over by a bike or something because they would see bicycles passing by. And then I think one time I thought he was crossing the street and I thought he was going to get hit by a car because I was like assuming he just was not paying attention and it would happen. It would come. But it didn't. It didn't happen. He's okay. I haven't heard anything bad happen about him. So he apparently made it home alive.
Yeah, that would have been back in April. Because that was the weekend before Celebration. And Joel, Dan, was it Dion was up there with him? I think. I always meant to go find that one, and I never did. Let's see if I can find it. So,
anyway.
What are you guys' theory? Who do you guys think he really is, by the way? Or do you even have a theory?
Not really. I'll just let it be as me. I never think that far ahead of who he really is.
Yeah.
I just enjoy the show.
Q.
You think it's me?
No, I think he's Q.
Q.
Oh my God.
Yes.
John, whatever his name is.
Q.
You talking about? Oh, wait a minute. We talking Q from Star Trek or Q from 007?
No.
Let's talk about Q as in. Explain to him.
QAnon.
Yep.
QAnon, the secret mystery person or group.
Where we go one, we go all.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
See, they've been red.
I've been following that. I've been following that for a hot minute.
So what was the big news they announced recently that you posted in the chat, though?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't. I've been kind of listening and like just waiting. Any day.
Any day now. Oh well.
Yeah.
Waiting for what?
There was a Q post a couple days ago that was like something's coming.
Oh, something big's
like
gonna drop.
Yeah.
Like my nuts.
That would have been a good joke.
Hey, can I talk to Channel Dad here for a sec?
Yeah.
You guys can come on, let's get in a little huddle here. Big Bry, I just want to say that I saw your video, the one that you just put out, what, a couple days ago, about who you are in the movement, who you are here on YouTube and in the Fandom Menace. And it moved me, and it touched a brother's heart.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, because, you know, being a dad, who are the parents in here? Who?
Well, Seth's
Anything
got a
else?
little one.
Okay. Well, you'll see this as you get older. There comes a time where, you know, the kids are dependent on you. You know, you take care of them. They love you. You're the hero. But then there comes a time where they feel independent. And sometimes you don't get that look. You don't get that call. You don't get to be leaned on as much. And sometimes you get relegated to being a boomer or being just some, you know, person that helps them out. And there's not a lot of gratefulness at times. And when you were talking about that, Bryon, it really opened up a lot of emotions that I had about, you know, where I was as a father. And you got it right. You're going to be the channel dad no matter what. That's your job.
Yep.
And realizing that, I think, was just, you know, and really pouring your heart out there. I have to commend you, bro. I was moved.
Well, thank you, I guess, is the appropriate response. Yeah,
Damn right it is.
Yeah, I had been thinking about that video, and we can talk about that now. I think Tap's seen it. I don't know, or one of the two.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
tapping dudes.
Because it was very frustrating. So, you know, 2018, I was on World Class Bullshitters a few times. I was on a couple of there was a live stream, you know, watch party for stuff. Some of it was around my birthday and some other things. But 2019, it was like, you know, celebration was great. Met some people. We talked about doing some others, you know, hey, let's do some cross-channel stuff. Jesse talked about it. Anna talked about it. And then it never came to fruition. And then a few months later, it's almost like we kind of scattered, you know, and then the High Council had been going for a while and things, you know, we've seen all the growth. And it was very frustrating because my channels more than doubling in numbers that happened over the course of about a month and a half had nothing to do with the Fandom Menace. It was one of my videos that had been out for a month, and it had everything to do with Brie Larson and the Cringe Fest. That was that in-game, you know, interview with her, Chris Hemsworth, and
where they're all looking at her like she's crazy.
And not Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle. Yeah. Don Cheadle was like, "Don't touch me."
Right. He's like, oh, yeah, we talked about that. Don't touch me. And that, because I had been talking about rumors. There was an article that was, you know, and you know, that's the infamous one where I've talked about Martin Downey Jr. and everything else. And
Martin.
Who?
Downey Jr. Martin Downey Jr.
Is he in Bad Boys 3?
Yeah, he was Bad Boys 6. That was Martin Downey Lawrence.
Okay.
Ooh, I just got a text message to
Bad boy.
Okay, sorry.
No,
so, and it was something that I've been like for a long time. I'm like, you know, what is my role? And I was really getting irritated because there was all kinds of things about, you know, helping me a little bit. I did multiple for not only my channel, but for the Fan Caste. I would go on to the High Council. I'd spend $5. I'd spend $10 on, you know, a super chat. And, you know, I didn't want to sound like I was pleading, hey, can someone give a shout out to our channel? But other people do a super chat. And they would be, oh yeah, these, and they wouldn't say, hey, can you guys have a shout out? They'd say, hey, this is hey from so and so, and someone like, you know, Jeremy or Ethan, rarely Jeff. That he would, at least the ones that I listened to, it was really Ethan and Jeremy, and sometimes a couple other people would say, oh yeah, I listen to this channel. These guys, you know, they do this and this, and you guys need to watch them. And then Jeremy, and Ethan would have even some of their own live streams where they'd say, hey, this channel's almost to 1,000. Let's get them to 1,000. Hey, we got 100 people here. Hey, everybody subscribe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I heard that on other
you
channels.
know, multiple times. And I was like, Okay, I've paid some, it's not like, but it's not like I dropped $100 super chat that says, "Hey, can you guys, mention my channel for the next 5 seconds?" But it was over and over again. Like when I did it as a fan cast, I don't even remember what my post was. And Jeff was on, and Jeff said, "Hey, he said, that was me," which was true. And there was nothing from any of that. I got no boost. This channel got no boost. And I was like, and so it was a very long journey. And I know a few weeks ago, you and I, Prime, talked after the show on some of the stuff that I've been, gotten more alignment with, even when I'm doing professionally.
Right.
And I was like, for 2 weeks, because of my schedule and trying to do a video to say the Fandom Menace can go fuck itself, which is basically what I was going to say in my video. I just couldn't get it lined up. And finally, I was like, Christmas, in the shower, and I'm like, I don't want to go that negative. And then I don't even remember when it happened, but I was like, oh, Channel Dad. And it just like hit me, just like you described. It's like, well, yeah, duh. And so for me, it put me at peace. And so a lot of the stuff that you're going to see in my channel in the next year is going to be less and less Fandom Menace focus. I'm going to do some more pop culture stuff, the Brie Larson stuff, the Brie Larson Monday, the Captain Marvel Mondays are still fairly popular. I'm going to change how I do some of the stuff with the articles and stuff. I'm not going to really read. I'm going to read it, but I'm going to kind of do more combined video. But I was like, oh, okay. Because I'm starting to get subscribers again since I did this 2 days ago. When I had realization,
honesty, it's out there.
Yeah, I'm starting to get subscribers again, and the videos that are pulling in subscribers are not one of these. They're heavy fan, because and we've talked even on this show and I think even, I don't know if it was Seth or somebody else in previously, maybe it was Frank, maybe it was that old that it was Frank. I remember months ago, I was like, I am tired of all the negative. Jeremy in particular is just wound up negative. Disney can go this and cat blah blah blah.
Yeah, he's a real dick.
I was just over it. I'm like, that's him. Okay, if that works for him, great. And if he's able to produce for that, that's not me.
Right? That's his shtick. I mean, because it kind of all is
right. And I don't know. I don't know how much of it's a put on. And he seems like a nice guy when I met him, but he didn't. He was there to meet Jeff. He didn't give two shits about the rest of us, and I understand because Jeff's the celebrity, right? I get it. Jeff is World Class Bullshitters. It's his channel. He started the whole thing. He's in charge of it. He does all the side videos. I get it. It's not. I don't want to be taken out of context here and have a Jordan Peterson moment. But if I have to spend the next 10 minutes, what I mean by that, I will do it, to the clarity that some people need to get their head out of their ass. But but the frustration was there was nothing coming in from the periphery. And this show was started. I mean, if you go listen to the first year of this show, we had a bunch of different people on that every week. There's all kinds of comments, and then poof, it just disappears. So I don't know if the show should have stopped a year and a half ago. I don't know what it means, but it's very annoying because I do like doing the show. I like talking to everybody. Maybe it's because it's a live stream. We don't have a whole lot of people listening. I don't know, but and I get YouTube in general's down, and people are, every time, go on Twitter and just look up go look for references to the YouTube creators Twitter channel, and people are having their channels taken away. They're getting hacked.
Yeah, and subs are getting taken away on Christmas.
Right, and YouTube isn't doing anything about it. There are people with 150,000 subs that are just told your channel has been deleted. No warning, no nothing. And who knows, come January 3rd, this channel may not, I don't know. But, and if not, we'll figure out how to do something on Twitch or something. We'll do something.
Can I interject real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
The way I found out who Bryon Lape was is, I think, Jeff, this was maybe it was a year and a half ago or something, was the guy who put timestamps on the podcast. Was that you?
Yep.
Oh my God. Him. you know, and it's like, yeah, channel, or I don't even know if Channel Dad moniker it even stuck.
No,
Like,
it was the official timekeeper for a while.
Yes,
then I changed jobs, and then I didn't have the time to do it because I would see. And that
was so helpful because I went back in the older podcast. I'm like, holy crap, he actually did this. So that's when I first learned about you.
Yeah, before I left AAA, there were times that all I did, literally all day long, because I had nothing to do, as I would listen to podcasts, older ones, and just I would do 3 in a day, just adding timestamps.
Mm-hmm.
And that was I liked doing it because it was I was listening because somebody had kind of I forget, someone had done it and then didn't, and then someone was asking. And back when Oggs for President was still around, he would say, "Oh yeah, and episode 16 at 15:03, you said this." It was the young man's brain was incredible. And so part of it too was just to kind of break down an episode, because sometimes I would want to go back and listen to something, and it it kind of became my thing to do on Fridays because that's when I would listen to it. And then when I first left AAA, I was able to do it a couple of times, and since then I've just not been able to. Just too busy. And then now half the time I don't even listen to the podcast anymore because I got too much other stuff to do.
Right. You're living life.
Right. And I'm doing a real job now, that instead of just sitting around doing nothing. And I have discovered that if I'm reading code and trying to figure out something, I cannot hear another voice. So anything spoken, I can't listen to. Mm-hmm. And I'm also starting to realize recently, and I think this has something to do with the frequency of sound, the type of music it is. I shouldn't say the type of music, the underlying premise of the music. If I'm really trying to figure out something in deep thought, I really have to flip to new age or very, let's say, uplifting music. Doesn't necessarily have to be church music. It can still be heavy metal, but something that's not so angry.
Spiral Gyra,
but if I listen, and it's got to be more harmonic, almost like hair band stuff, if I'm listening to heavy metal. But it's amazing how often I'm listening to Enigma and several others. And there are times too that when I really get deep in the woods, singing gets in the way. I just have to have the sound to get my brain fully engaged.
So like the instrumental version. Yeah.
And I'll listen to a lot of and it sometimes, I'm listening to house music or something, but it's there's no music, there's no lyrics, or very little. And that helps. But that was me. And see, not too long ago, this is also kind of thing that caught me off guard a couple months ago, where someone left a comment on one of my videos that said, "Oh, I didn't know Channel Dad had a YouTube channel." And I was like, a year ago, people didn't say that. And I was like, so what in the world's going on? What's changed? And I think it's me that changed. And that's part of what I realized when I did that video, when I was preparing for that video. It's like, so that was because that was the other thing too, is what in the heck do I call this? Leaving the Phantom Menace, letting go of the Phantom Menace, releasing the Phantom Menace.
Go fuck yourself, Phantom Menace.
Because it's like that, that's an Eric Ward thing. I didn't have that kind of, I wasn't angry with anybody. I was just confused.
Well, what did you realize? What was the prime nugget of what you realized where your spot is here?
Well, that was the title.
Right.
I was trying to figure out exactly, I couldn't title the video properly. And I fully realized that I wasn't angry with anybody. I was disappointed. I was annoyed, but I wasn't angry with anybody. And somewhere along the line, it was when I was thinking about that, it sounds so stupid, but it's a McDonald's commercial from the late 80s, I don't even remember when. There's a McDonald's commercial, heck, it could have been from the early 2000s, where the girl's meeting like her friends, and there's some guys, and he drops her off and she walks in, and he like goes around to the drive-in, and he pulls up and parks where he can see, like they're in the middle of the restaurant, and she sees him, and he's got his Big Mac and fries, and he's eating in the car, and she's with her friends, and it's because she's like that age where she's not quite driving yet, so like 14, 15. That commercial.
He's 35.
Well, I don't know, but you know, and she's like kind of salutes the dad, hey, thanks, kind of thing, you know, kind of holds her drink up like, you know, in a toast, you know, and that moment of father-daughter bonding for a few seconds. That commercial suddenly came to my head, and I was like, that's exactly where I am. That's exactly, you know, granted, I'm not saying that I birthed the Fandom Menace. That's where I don't want people to get confused, but that's the type of role, you know. World Class needs someone to drive them back when they're all, because they, you know, I will say this, they were drinking before and during the movie.
They partake in a couple of libations.
Oh my God, the dogs are gonna kill me. So
libations,
right? You know, driving to Horror Hound, driving to Celebration. Sometimes it's my vehicle, sometimes it's Nick's. You know, I was like, this is where I am. This is exactly what I should be doing. Because
I'm drunk.
Yeah. Because in many ways, you know, yeah, I didn't like The Force Awakens. I was, you know, anti-Disney Star Wars from the start, but I never had the energy to really just rant for days on it. So, I mean, you go look at my videos of that. I mean, I did a video the day I saw the movie, and I didn't do another Star Wars video for months. You know, I didn't do 75 more Star Wars videos.
Perhaps you think you're being treated unfairly?
Yes.
Good.
But I accept
I had to leave Garrison here.
But unfair is what I accept. But it's but no, it's what I realized. It's like, so we'll see, you know, and I've got some more positive affirmation, different things, videos that I want to do in the coming year, and still going to do some stuff on pop culture. It just, I'm at peace. Just like I said in my tweet about it, I'm at peace with my spot. I'm no longer confused and annoyed and angry, because I was angry at the lack of results, not at any one person. So,
well, if you haven't heard it, I'll be the first one to tell you that it resonated with my situation as well, because there's been a lot of times it's like you're putting in all this energy, and you're getting them ready, you know, the kids ready for this sport or this event, and you just want to hang out, and they're kind of moving past, and it's like, guys, you're my little babies.
Yeah, Dad, but I'm 25 now.
It's like, but you're my baby, you know, you're my kid, and why don't you treat me like, you know, you used to? Why don't you jump, you know, on my back, and we'll go for, you know, I'll carry you around.
But Dad, I'm 25.
It's like, dude, okay, I get it. And you have to kind of let go of the reins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seth, you will be there one day, my friend.
Yeah, cool.
Tapping dudes, I don't know, man.
I don't know, probably
I
not.
don't know, man.
If you keep tapping dudes, you won't ever be there.
Right? Yeah. They be calling me daddy. I'm gonna
for a short time.
Yep, for a short
Come
time.
back in 2 and 2.
So anyway, I don't want to get all like, you know, all Sally, Jesse, Raphael moment, or
too late.
We had a what was that? Not Donahue. Who was that other more the guy was a damn mayor of Cincinnati.
Oh,
Jerry Springer.
Yeah.
You know, back in the early days of his program, when it would be, you know, all hell would, you know, they'd do it, and then he'd have his little talk at the end of it. What did we learn today?
What did we learn today? You are the father.
No, that's Maury
Povich.
Maury Springer.
Yeah. Hello, this is Cecil. It's been a wonderful Christmas. Let me drink. I am not Dom DeLuise.
Reincarnated.
I think he is Dom DeLuise.
Dom DeLuise.
You know that he never died. He just, you know, he faked his death and became Cecil.
He Epstein himself.
Yep.
So, here's what I got to say about the whole Star Wars adventure that we've been on. for 40 years. Came in like a lion and went out like a lamb. And I'm just going to say, I don't have to bash on them, because there was a point where I was like, guys, you're just bashing on this stuff because that's what you do. And I don't know if you really believe it. And even if they made the greatest movie ever in these sequel trilogies, which would, monkeys would fly out of my butt, but it's just kind of like they got stuck in the mode of bashing everything that happens. And I don't think that was too fair. Now, don't call me no pansy for going that way, but I grew up with the movies, the original trilogy. I loved them. I just, to me, Star Wars was life. You can make decisions based on, like I used to tell my son when he was about 8 or 9, I was like, Anakin made some bad decisions, and you don't want to end up like Anakin, right? No. He messed up. It's like, you're damn right he did. So think about what you're doing, because Anakin made some bad choices. And that's, that stuck for a couple of years. And then he's like, dude, that's a movie. Okay. That's enough. I don't need a life lesson. But I really enjoyed the journey. And I guess the point of the journey is not to arrive. Think about that one. Because you're on the journey and you don't ever want to end that. So, yeah, we got some missteps and some really kind of bad end product. It kind of soured at the end. But still, I find myself in the store going, hey, I want to get a new figure because I really liked them, and I liked them growing up. And it's, I still like this stuff, but I shouldn't like it because it's Rian Johnson telling me I'm a sexist if I don't like his main character. And you know what? I'm putting that aside. I love Star Wars. Boom.
Oh, you're a weird old man now,
dude. I know. Yeah.
Here, I thought you were going to subvert my expectations.
Subvert your dude.
Well, the thing about the new Star Wars is you can't find any of the new figures. You can only find the old ones.
Right.
Just the other day, I just found Dengar, and he's, I think, on the newer phase that just came out. And my beautiful daughter was up in Philly. That's where she lives. And she goes, Daddy, are you looking for Mandalorian stuff? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, what about this? We were FaceTiming. She showed me a Mandalorian figure of the Mandalorian, a Black Series. Buy it. And so she brought it down, handed it off to me for Christmas and birthday. So I got that one. I could sell it for $60 on eBay, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get it. Maybe I'll get a Lego set of the Mandalorian. That's
Nice.
it. I don't get the figures. I just get Legos.
and dudes.
And dudes. They call me daddy. You're
gonna call me a daddy.
Say, I'm your daddy now.
Your daddy. So yeah, I mean I realized it. It's like, okay, and even my family was like, Dad, what are you doing, man? You're like, oh, you're not gonna go see let's see, was it? You're not gonna go see Solo? And I was like, no. She goes, and they were like, that's our family thing. We go see the newest Star Wars movie. So that kind of became a tradition. And I went, and the good parts, bad parts, and then we saw The Last Jedi, and I, nearly vomited, but I honored the tradition. And then this last movie, I was like, okay, it's got some good parts. It races at you, and probably not the best ending, or the story was kind of wonky, but I'm dialing it back, and I like Star Wars. As opposed to Tappin, he likes dudes.
Mhm.
And they
No,
call
no.
him daddy.
This was the last night Prime Mover will be on this.
Right?
That's right. Brand new year.
I could accidentally sneeze and he's gone. Yeah. Well, see, one of the things that I told people, this was what I was thinking when I was watching the Rise of Skywalker until we got to the end, and then I puked in my popcorn. I was like, you know, if we had 2 movies that built to this would be pretty good. But we don't have jack anything building to any of this. It's like, yeah, this is all payoff with no. My only guess is that 3+ hour version that was the original cut.
Oh yeah,
probably had a lot of setup and probably would have made a lot more sense. But it's like
EFAP went over that.
Yeah.
There was about 75% of the movie that got changed.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing, when that was that big and people were walking out, the test screenings, people were walking out. I was like, you know, maybe we just ought to just pretend that it really ended in 83.
And there wasn't.
Go ahead.
There wasn't. Palpatine wasn't even going to be a thought.
Yeah. I was like, you know, that storyline in the EU was not well liked anyway. I don't know why you'd bring it up. So
right, the cloning portion of it.
Well, and then there was one where
resurrection.
Luke fought 2 clones of himself, one called
yeah.
Luke and one called Luke. I mean, it's just like
Mork and Bort.
Luke and cool.
Cool. Yeah, Luke back.
Wait, really? Seriously? Cool? Damn. Fucking
I don't know if
brilliant.
you guys are like old what is it? G.I. Joe. They had Tomax and Zaymot, and they were twin brothers. They just ran the other guy's ran it backwards. And I'm like, what? Oh, I get it. Lazy. Here's what I think. Here's what keeps me like going. Episode 4. Luke is up on the dune range trying to look for R2. He gets up to that little plateau with C-3PO and he's looking down, and what does he see on his binocs? He sees 2 banthas. And then he goes, I don't see. Oh, there's sand people. I can see one of them now. And all of a sudden, comes in, hits him, knocks him out, and everything else. He gets knocked out. While he's knocked out, he's having a fever dream, and that's all the movies from
The Disney
episode 4. Yeah, episode 4. I'm sorry, episode 7 through 9. And then he wakes up because Obi-Wan Kenobi's there and says, hello there, you know, and he's like, I need you to go on this mission. He's like, I don't think so, because I know how it ends. It was all a dream.
That was Dallas season 4 or something, wasn't it?
What's that?
Remember one of the seasons of Dallas where it was all a dream?
It was
Bobby
all a
died?
dream. Exactly. Do the Dallas thing because they copy everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, these little tropes that go Solo, right? Remember when they're on that train, that crazy, weird, twisty train at the heist, and Chewbacca is kind of hanging off the train,
right?
And they're trying to pull him, or Han is trying to pull him up, and then he barely gets him up before he gets crushed by the rocks on the side. Mandalorian did the same thing with the Jawa sandcrawler. He's about to get crushed, you know, because they're trying to run him into the ravine there. Where do we see that?
That reminded me of Indiana Jones.
Exactly.
Indiana Jones.
And The Last Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. They borrow so much stuff and recycle it. So,
well, yeah. That's all Hollywood's been doing for decades.
Borrowing from each other, yeah.
Although,
can I copy your homework?
When you have something that is not so much a copy, but a reconditioning, a repackaging, like the original Star Wars, it borrowed from a lot of stuff, but it wasn't a direct copy, you know? You could see the influence, but it wasn't, you know, copy.
It wasn't blatant.
You know?
Yeah. So again, there's a lot to, you know, criticize and slam and be angry about. And I'm like I said, I'm not having a change of heart about what I feel in the sense of it's a lot of crap, especially the sequel trilogy. Force Awakens was pretty good. I'll say that. But it just brought me back to, I said, I can have the hate flowing through me. Or I could say, you know what, I really liked the beginning, the middle, and a little bit of the end. And then I can poop the rest out. It was a good meal. It was a good three-course meal. But on the third course, it wasn't that good. I'll just crap it out tomorrow. So.
Damn it.
And this will be my last show.
Yeah.
Like
you make sense.
Picture.
Do what?
Cecil liked the picture that you posted on Twitter.
That. Yeah.
And I commented on it and was like, "You're welcome." You didn't tag me in it.
I didn't. I was asking if you guys had Twitter, but no one ever said anything. So
I didn't hear you. I commented on it.
Okay.
So.
Oh. I heard you mention Twitter, but I didn't hear you asking if we had it, so I must have missed it. My bad.
I was trying to get that out there. Well, speaking of Star Wars, the other topic we had was the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
Well, we also were going to talk. You also had some SJW reactions to Rise.
Well, I think we kind of went over it a bit. Just them.
Well, they're pissed off
upset.
that the lesbian kiss was removed, right?
Yeah,
in Singapore.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it's more than just Singapore.
Oh yeah,
there's other ones.
Asia as well. I mean,
China is not going to have it. If they show it in Russia, no way at all. They don't go for that stuff.
They don't go for that gay shit.
They don't go for that gay.
They got something against the gays for some reason. Yeah. I wonder why.
The water must be cleaner.
That was about it. Like I said, because I was saying it wasn't much as far as what happened since it was Christmas, I guess.
Yeah. And see, that was part of when my daughter was here talking about. She's seen clips of certain parts and the the kiss in the Rise of Skywalker, and she's like, that's so it does, and she doesn't see the connection, and there isn't one, that this can lead to that. And then I also asked her if she saw the audience reaction to the end, the one that's been going around Twitter where people are yelling and screaming before she says, and they're like, "Oh, don't you say it! Don't you? Where's Ben?" yeah.
It turned into the Rocky Horror Skywalker show,
right? And when she says, "Ray Skywalker," oh, they just erupt. Yeah, she's that. Oh yeah, I can't wait for her to see it. But
think about it, Palpatine won.
Yeah, but did he? But it's a good Palpatine. So it's like the Palpatines are alive, but they're good now.
That's what I'm saying.
It's one.
I know.
Sheev, back
no,
in the
they
day,
are all one.
They're all one because they all.
He did not enter Sheev.
She has all the Sith and she's the balance of the Force. So she has all the Sith and all the Jedi.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. Talk about tapping. They all tapped into her.
Tapping it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do you think of the season finale there?
I have not seen it, so I might have to.
I'm the only one who seems to be the one who's, yeah.
I
do not own Disney Plus. I just borrow it from someone.
There you go. I'm going to step out for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Well, we're wrapping up, aren't we? Because we're about
done. We're about done. Unless you want to mute it.
Just give a spoiler-free rundown. What you thought.
I'll give a spoiler. Okay, so to start, I was surprised that because the direct. Okay, well, first off, I feel stupid because I could have sworn there was 10 episodes going to be 10, but it's only 8. So I felt because I know there's a few episodes like, well, they got 2 more episodes or they got this many episodes, even though I was considering 10.
So was Mandalorian interrupt us? Okay.
Yeah. 8 episodes. That's it. But it was directed by Taiko or Taco Tuesday, as we call him. I swear to God, he seems like he's an asshole when he was with the whole Thor thing. So I was kind of nervous he would fuck it up though. So to start, it was a great episode. It's fun to watch. It was a good way to end the season, and there was a part at the beginning. I was just like, are they seriously going to try to do this Marvel thing? But it didn't last that long. So I was like, okay, never mind. I was worried there for a second. But we finally got to, we saw a little bit more of the, what you would call it. We saw more of the backstory from what we already saw. We finally got a good glimpse of what actually happened with the Mandalorian when he was young. Right after, because they show a little bit, because they would always show the same thing, but then they finally showed the rest of it, and you finally realize, okay, this is what happened to the Mandalorian when he was a kid.
So he was Jyn Erso'd.
Somewhat, yeah. I guess
didn't they kind of put him somewhere like they did Jyn Erso?
Yeah. Well, Jyn Erso more of like wandered in there herself.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because she already knew where to go. Because they even say it like, well, you know the plan, you know what to do.
Right.
So she knew to go there. That was sort of like in the moment, panic in the moment sort of thing, what had happened to him. And, they reveal his name, what his actual name was, but I didn't know this, but apparently it had already been revealed by the actor, Pedro Pascal. He already mentioned the name. I didn't know this, so it was news to me when they revealed his actual name. And then, I kind of figured he wasn't an actual, like, from Mandalore. He was, you could tell. That's not really a bunch of a spoiler. You kind of figure that out on your own. That he was also what they call a foundling. And I did like the what's it called, the latest villain. Hopefully he's going to show more of him. He seems like he could be an actual intimidating someone that's an actual threat.
Oh, Gus Fring from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, whatever his name was, I forgot. But I'm glad oh, never mind. I'm not supposed to give spoilers. I can't do those.
I'm going to watch it here after we get off anyway.
Okay. They don't go too much in Baby Yoda, but basically they're setting up the next season and say, okay, well, you got to either train him yourself and keep him with you, or you find him his own species and give him back. As basically the Mandalorian's two options: raise him as your own, train him to be a Mandalorian, or you give him back to his species. Mm-hmm. So that's set. So they basically set up the second season, because I know some people was wondering. I think Seth had asked me. Or Brian, I think you asked me, did he think it's going to end where they get him back or he loses him? Well, they keep him. They managed to get him back, but now they know they're going somewhere with the plot, actually, this time, and I hope they do it a little, because the season wasn't perfect. As much as I enjoy The Mandalorian, watching it every Friday morning, the show wasn't perfect, but it was way better than what we've had in the past few years since The Force Awakens and all that.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what, yeah. And
that feels like Star Wars. It feels like old Star Wars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And because the action's good, I love too, because like you said, like if any of y'all know, like the blasters the stormtroopers use, they're based off an actual World War II submachine gun, but they bring that back too, because they actually, what's her name, Cara Dune's that character. She actually has a Bren gun, but instead of the magazine on the top, they just put a drum magazine at the bottom.
The drum expanded one.
Yeah, with the two barrels, and I was like, "Oh, that's a Bren gun." Yep, I was like, "They're going back to that," and I was like, I thought that was pretty neat that they did that. Mm-hmm. And because for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I don't know if you noticed in Rogue One, the Rebel troopers, they had AR-15s.
Yeah,
that was
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I really didn't like that, because because I knew so much, and you could tell where the magazine button was and all that, and the selector was still on there in the magazine. It just didn't seem right. They should have just stuck to the original ones, the ones they had like from The Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi.
The Sterlings that they used to actually make blasters.
Because those kind of look like STG-44s. That's what they look like. The ones the Rebels have. Mm-hmm. Just without the magazine. That's what I think it was. I think it would have been better if they kept those. But they did that, and the stormtroopers, like having a whole bunch of stormtroopers, fighting them off and all that. And the Death Troopers felt actual dead. They brought back an old weapon I hadn't seen in a while, the E-Web. Remember that big old gun they brought out when the Rise the Falcon was escaping from the base? That gun they set up on the truck? Yeah, on Hoth. Yeah.
Right, yeah, and they busted out that tripod.
Yeah, they bring that gun back. Oh. And they're like, yeah, this gun where if we, you having such if now we're gonna open up on you with this gun right here.
Right.
You are basically.
It's basically the Alamo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had to hold out, and they couldn't get out first. But then we finally got a face reveal from the Mandalorian. We get to actually see his face. And it's pretty good. It works out because he keeps saying how, I can't show my face to any living thing, and that droid's like, well, I'm not a living thing, so you can show, because he had to show him. He had to take off his helmet. You know, they're all big on their whole, their creed and stuff, so he didn't want to take it off, but he had to take it off because he had a head injury. Right. They had to take care of where he was going to die, but you see him, and it's like, oh, hey, that's Pedro Pascal. Hey. So to all those assholes who were like, oh, it's actually a female underneath, your theory's been fucked, just like Snoke, your Snoke theory. I mean, unless the Mandalorian identifies as a woman, it's confirmed it's a man. The Mandalorian's a man.
But was he Prince Oberon?
I know, right? And that's what I said when he saw his face. I yelled out, "That's the Red Viper!"
That's right. And the dude on Kingsman or something. Was he on Kingsman?
Yeah, Whiskey. Yeah. I love them on Whiskey. I liked them on Kingsman.
Yeah.
That final fight at the end was probably the best part of the whole movie because I wasn't too crazy about it as much as I liked the first one. But that final fight at the very end was the best one. The best fight is better than the church scene. I think so, personally. Because I know everyone likes the church scene.
Church scene, when I first saw it, I'm like, holy crap! They're allowing people to they're allowing a director to show this stuff because it was so brutal and fast, and the guy didn't give a damn. He's just blasting all these churchgoers, and like, that's a little sacrilege. I know it is.
I mean, that was probably the best part. That woman coming at him.
It was awesome.
He just shot her in the face.
Did you guys see Yeah. Did you guys see the re-edit of that scene where they stuck somebody's face on there and a whole bunch of news organizations? As
yes, people? I saw that one.
Wasn't that amazing?
It was, but I think the best one was the Starship Trooper one, where all the right wingers or whatever were fighting against all the left wing media. Was the bugs, and they were about to overwhelm them. That was the best one, I think.
Yeah,
Rico, you know what to do.
Dude, it's like just shooting up the place. And then all the CNN and was it just you even see Apple in there. I was laughing when I saw Apple. I was like, of course Apple's in there.
Definitely Google and all the other rest of them. Yep.
But anyway, back to the thing. Okay, see, they make it out barely. They're fighting their way out. They matchmake, and freaking one of the characters goes Allah Akbar on some stormtroopers. I was just like, right when he was about to do it, I looked at my brother. I said, "Praise Allah."
Detonates his.
Yep. And then right at the very end, we saw a really cool weapon that I actually do like him at the Darksaber. I don't know if you've ever seen it from the Clone Wars. It's a black saber. It's like basically like a light. That shows up.
Swallows all the light, basically, right? Yeah.
And one of the villain has it, and I'm like, oh shit, that looks pretty cool. And like to actually see it in live action, because we've only seen it in animated form, but now we see it in live action. So that was pretty damn cool. And it just ends where he's gonna take care of him now, because that Smith chick that shows up in the few episodes, she's like, you're his father for now, so that's his child, and that's the daddy. The Mandalorian's his daddy. Hopefully he doesn't go through that phase of he wants the whole Baby Yoda, but Baby Yoda's like, nah, I don't want to hold on to you. I'm 21 years old. I'm 500 years old, Dad.
Come on now. I'm an
adult. Remember when we fought the Mudhorn, son? Come on, just give me a hug. Just give me a hug.
Because that never goes away. Even if the kid's a shit to you, you still like, if I hug him or talk to him, he'll be okay. And usually it doesn't happen. So it ended on a good note, huh? Yeah, because like I said, there's as good as it is. There's some of the episodes I'm not too crazy about. They're not horrible, but there are they could have been better, I think, or shot or done dialogue, whatever, acting better. But I think it ended in such a high note. I can't wait for the next season next year. Yeah, they said they're currently they either started last month or this month they're filming, so they're looking for a June or July release. I heard falls. Really? Yeah, they're gonna go for another fall release. Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure how true that is. That could be just someone
I'm
just saying, yeah.
A guy was talking about their filming, and usually they want to, do it for a early summer release, but it could be pushed back to fall. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Try to just do it all over like they did last. Came out November last time. It'll come out in November again, sort of thing.
Yeah,
that'll be its thing.
No, but it's done very well, and I like the fact that some folks, you hear these YouTube sites, and they're like, "Oh, it's fan service because everything's like, from the OT." I'm like, dude, it's fun. It's good. It's a basic story of, like a Clint Eastwood type guy taking care of a kid and, trying to find his way in the galaxy. I'm just a man trying to find my way in the galaxy. So leave it alone. Quit bitching. It's a good show. And it's actually, like you said, better than the stuff that we've seen in the last several years.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So I highly recommend to anyone try to watch it. I mean, Seth, if you can't, it's over. The season's over. You can go ahead and try that free trial for yourself and just binge it.
Yeah, I plan on it.
Yeah,
because it's really good. And I just actually caught up yesterday.
Yeah, because another thing I do want to point out, one of the great things I do love is at the end of every episode, you see the artwork they do for each episode.
Yeah.
But it was funny I think it was I forgot what episode. The episode where he partners up with that young bounty hunter. If you look at his gun, his rifle, whatever, it's actually just an AK, but they just put a longer barrel on it.
Yeah, I saw that.
I thought that was cool. Like little things like that, that's pretty fun to see when they do that.
Because that was probably just a reference, like to show, okay, he's got a rifle or a gun, fill it in later, but this is what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they could sell that too. People will buy that.
People will make it too. Because you got a lot of these people that are just making their own shit. They either, get the equipment or they get these 3D printers and they're just making their own stuff now these days.
Mm-hmm.
Technology is available.
Did you hear that the stormtroopers that were in that, like the last, was it episode 7, that all kind of came out and were doing the Alamo thing? The majority of those guys. 501st? Yeah, 501st, yeah.
Yeah. They're usually the go-to guys to call when they need a bunch of stormtroopers.
I'm telling you, it's awesome. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bryon, what are you doing?
Just listening, man. I did enough talking.
Yeah, he doesn't watch the show.
You haven't seen Mando?
Nope. Although I think we probably do have free Disney Plus. I just got to figure out how to
give Verizon.
Well, no, we have Verizon. We have Verizon's wireless, but I don't know if we have the unlimited account. I mean, we have some old Verizon setup that's not even available anymore. I'm not sure what it's.
Well, like old Verizon equipment attached to the house or something?
No, what our data rates and plan and all that. It's some old one that they don't offer anymore. So we got grandfathered in.
Yeah, that old grandfather.
Because you are, in fact, a grandfather.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you really?
No.
Oh, why not?
Not yet.
Nothing I know of.
Right? Unless they didn't tell you.
Yeah, you're going to find out this weekend. No.
You'll start doing beer reviews with the grandson.
Yeah, the government may not care for that.
Well, you could do that Capo thing on the front or whatever it is. Copa. Copacabana.
No, the child online protection.
Yeah, and it's big granddaddy big brother is called HIPAA. That's the next one in line.
HIPAA's
violate HIPAA, you're done.
That's medical stuff.
Right, but that's like it takes precedence over COPPA.
Don't you just love all these words they come up with? The names.
We were coming up with words. Yeah, boomer words.
What'd you say? You hate what? HIPAA?
I hate HIPAA. We have to, where I work, we have to deal with that a lot. We have to make sure labels get taken off and destroyed the proper way. And
Geez, at least you do it because I've been hit twice with identity theft because they put your damn social security number on everything. And I go to the VA. I'm like, look, you have my information. It's in there. I don't need to put it on a form. No, you need to verify it. And you hear, you know, are they actually getting rid of the information? I'm standing there looking at somebody else's record because they've got it open. So, yeah, follow the HIPAA.
Yeah.
The hippo.
The hippo.
I call it the hippo.
Is this going to be another tapping dude story?
No.
Like a big furry dude?
No, just hippo. Anyway, the name Tapping Dudes comes from I don't know how many months ago there was someone trolling us, calling themselves Tapping Dudes, and they were trying to say it was me. I'm like, no, it's not me. I'm like, so I just went ahead, but I took the name anyway. So fuck it, I'll take the name.
It's not me, but yeah, I'll become him.
Yep.
He's your
I will become the Dark Knight. Yep, I will become the Dark Knight.
Oh man. That's cool. So where next? Where 2020? What do you plan on doing there, Big Bri Channel Dad?
I already covered what I'm planning on doing.
Listen, I came in a little late.
Yeah.
Well, that was after we talked about it. So I'm
So you're not gonna tell him. You're not gonna say it.
no, I'm gonna be changing a little bit what I'm doing. I'm kind of, take on the mantle. I'm going to start. I right now it might only be once a month, but I'm starting on a new series of Channel Dad Says.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's yeah.
Focusing on kind of just now I've got some alignment going with stuff. Just trying to, I want to finish reading the Blue Ocean Strategy. I got to do a few videos on that book that I'm reading right now as well. Mm-hmm. It's been really helpful. Get back to reading it better, reading it more.
Like soaking up a little more on a second read.
Yeah. Well, I got to get through it first. First.
I got to read the first
See
one.
how I set that one up?
Yeah.
So,
but expressing what I'm learning even on the first read, really. So what do you guys, I mean, this is our last show of the year. So,
I'm planning on reading more.
All these people who can't count, this is not the end of the decade. That's next year. Bugger off.
Yeah, that's right. 2021 is the next year.
I know that next week I have a Rise of Skywalker defender that wants to come on and discuss.
He's coming next week?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I'm going to miss it. Because guess what I'm going to be doing next week? I'm gonna be bar hopping with a bunch. No, I'm gonna be bar hopping with a bunch of Marines because my brother is a Marine. That's right.
Tapping dudes.
Yeah, tapping dudes. Because all Marines are secretly gay.
Well, they are. But you hear about this scandal with 29 Palms?
No.
Dudes were like making like gay calendars. They were taking like these gay photos and making calendars out of them.
So like Generation Kill. He said you should make gay porn.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
That's where the money is.
On. If you know about that movie, that is dead on about what they talk about all the time. You just talk about all sorts of nefarious stuff when you're out there.
Yep. He's like, why were you Marines so homoerotic? Everything we talk about is gay.
But here's
I
used to be in submarines. Like I used to, be stationed on a submarine and stuff, and you would do all sorts of gay stuff, like guy. Is this okay, Bryon, to talk about? I'm not going to get too crazy, but
fine.
Who knows? We might, it doesn't matter if I think it is. It's whether YouTube thinks it's bad and just deletes the video.
Okay. I've had a lot of shenanigans happening. I'll just say that.
I've had videos, copyright struck while processing it. So, you never know.
Well, there's my story.
What was the story? I missed it.
They were doing shenanigans.
That's it.
The G version, there were a lot of shenanigans.
The shenanigans? Shenanigans.
The PG-13 version is maybe the R version there's two guys on a submarine. They're usually the junior guys, and they do the driving, or the, you know, depending on what you say, driving, flying, sailing. And there's a guy called a third seater. He's the one that's telling them what to do, go right, left, at this degree. So if you're new, you're brand new to the sub, you're kind of like all scared and nervous. Well, there'll be some crazy, salty old guy that's been there for a while, and it's called the spin up game. You want to spin someone up. You do these things that'll put them, you know, out of sorts. So just like get all nervous. For instance, you have to sit at that wheel, that seat, and a dude will actually unzip his, you know, we call it poopy suit, but his coveralls, and drop his wanger on the dude's shoulder.
What the?
Just put it right there, right? And they want to see how this kid responds. If he's going to be freaked out, well, guess what? They're going to keep doing it over and over and over, because they want you to become immune to any like distractions. So if you're really good and you've heard about this and you're not easily shook up, you'll want to slap it. You want to like slap it off your shoulder. And then for some reason, if you don't respond, get freaked out, they're like, oh, this dude's all right. He's cool. You know, it's like, why did you need to drop your wanger on old boy's shoulder just to show that he's unflappable? Give me a break. You do the good game thing where you're, boom, slapping him on the butt. Okay, that's kind of
Well, hey, remember which group sang a song about the Navy? So,
right,
and the
YMCA.
Yeah, there were like 3 Navy guys in that group.
In the Navy,
an admiral and somebody else. Anyway, yeah. So what I'm saying is, yeah, that's some of the shenanigans that happen in the Navy. But if you truly play for the other team, they will beat. Well, they used to. They beat your butt because you can act gay and do gay funny things, but if you really are, then they're like, oh no, man, I don't do that. It's like, dude, you just dropped your wanger on old boy's shoulder. Wanger.
Just sending mixed signals here.
Yeah. Really, what did you mean by that? So you can play and be funny like that, but if you're confirmed to be that way, then it's all like it's not good. So
the fun is over.
Fun is over. The heat is on.
Well, that was perfectly timed.
Yeah. Well, speaking of heat, who the heck's our Hall of Fame?
The one you chose.
Alexandra Tyler is who we put in the Hall of Fame today. Her vital statistics are in the description. Do a image search at your own risk. So there are some not for safe work images of her out there. Feel like finding them. And as we said in the thumbnail, we have Gina, whatever her name is, who is in the Mandalorian, telling Disney to back off of Star Wars.
Oh,
that's what that whole thing is.
Gina Carano.
Yeah, and they ignore us. The reason part of the title is a bit of a play on words, ignorance. But Fandom Menace has kind of ignored this podcast for a while too. So I feel sorry for everybody that's been dragged along with me.
No, they have missed a great thing.
So, any other topics you guys want to cover? I'm about out of gas.
I thought we were wrapping up.
Yep. I was up till midnight, patrolling last night. So I am.
He be thought tired. Patrolling. That's what he does. He patrols them thoughts. Like he even knows what. I bet he doesn't know what a thought is though.
I thought that's those women on Twitch that.
Oh, okay. So you do know. Yeah. Okay.
It's not thought. It's thought.
Thought.
Yeah, I got teenagers.
If she breathes, she's a thought.
Get that thought out of here. Get that thought out of here. Yeah.
Oh God.
So, who wants to take us out?
Oh. All right. Well, if anybody else, that's why I was asking if anybody else had anything.
I got nothing.
We got nothing. Seth
Let's
sounds like
let's
quiet.
wish everyone
Nope.
a happy new year, prosperous new year,
Yeah.
erection new year that still works, and a good erection year outcome. You go vote.
You know, there's a reason why the main show only covers certain things on the what do they call it, the Patreon. So, but hey, if we get booted, we'll just go back to recording, just upload to BitChute, where it's a little bit more free.
So, speaking of New Year's, do you guys eat the New Year's Day meal? Have you guys ever heard of that?
I've heard of it, but I don't do it.
I don't know. Is this? I mean, there's a particular meal you mean, or just eating in general?
There is.
No.
There's
Never heard of it.
all right.
Seth.
Let me read this. Let me read this to you real quick. There are a group of foods that are eaten on New Year's Day that are guaranteed to bring good luck throughout the year. Peas and beans symbolize coins or wealth. Choose traditional black-eyed peas, lentil beans, whatever, to signify the multiplication of money and bringing you wealth throughout the year. Green resembles folding money. I'm trying to kind of skim through this. Eating leafy vegetables is to symbolize that you'll be prosperous and encounter good fortune throughout the year. Pork is designed to be prosperous because of the pig can always go forward. It can never turn its head. It can't go backwards. It always has to go forward. So you always want to eat pork.
Don't tell that to the Muslims.
Yeah. And
That's why they're stuck in the
cornbread.
4th century.
You're right. I want to say that.
I said
Anyway,
it.
go ahead.
Cornbread.
Cornbread symbolizes gold because the corn kernels also represent all these different foods represent prosperity, and it's a folk tradition. There's probably absolutely no real symbolism here, but you step off on the right foot on the first of the year, and they always say what you're doing on the first is what you're going to do all year. So by pushing forward and hoping for prosperity, search for it and dig for it, and maybe you'll get it.
Maybe.
Amen.
All right. Well,
I'm
there you go.
gonna go shopping. Mhm.
Yeah,
Your
Right.
black-eyed peas.
we always do it. It's a good time. I like
Black-eyed
it.
peas. And it's also cabbage too. You boil
Yep,
cabbage.
cabbage.
Yep. And cornbread.
Yeah, buddy. Not that
I'm gonna put
sweet
some
crap.
jalapenos.
Horseshoes.
I hate
Horseshoes.
sweet cornbread.
I know what to send you next year.
Spoons.
Well, in the north we have sweet cornbread, but in the south they just call it cake, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We call it
Like-
food. We just eat food down here. It doesn't have a name. It's green, and I think it's made of people. Possibly.
All right. All right. Well, I'm done with everything then, and we'll end this before we get kicked off the air, or as we get kicked off the air. Well, everybody who's still around, thank you so much for listening to episode 109 of the Fan Cast. Ignore us is bliss, as in ignorance is bliss. And I'm unpunny today. All right. Joining us late was Prime Mover.
But I got here,
But you
and
got
I'm here, and I'm ready to go.
As long as you're here, doesn't matter where here is. Tapping dudes.
Beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat,
The more you
toot.
eat, the more you toot.
Yep.
The more you fart, the more you toot, the better you feel. So beans for every meal.
Yeah.
All righty.
Ew.
And the Father Christmas in the corner, apparently wearing a motorcycle helmet. Appalachian. Send us out.
Y'all take care now.
Next summer, Frank Rivet is. I don't know what. We'll have to start doing
pecan pie.
right.
Way to dox him.
Yeah. I
He
didn't
didn't
dox
say
him.
pronounce it. He didn't pronounce it right, and people know who he is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, what is it? Who's he always doing?
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider plays Frank, the next door man.
Oh
All right.
God, just leave it alone.
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't think of it anyway. He's a hermit. You never find him. So
Take
that's
a
all.
Yeah.
hatchet to that whole thing.
Yeah. All right.
Yep.
That's why I'm Channel Dad and you're
Yes.
not. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.